All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another special edition of the Addicted to Gear show. I'm excited because we do have a special guest today, and I'll be introducing him in a minute. I want to say good morning to everybody that takes the time to join us every Sunday. This is show number 268. So we've been doing this for a long time. And today, I know I had mentioned a couple weeks ago that we would have a special guest on this show. So today, we do have a special guest. His name is Thomas Serafini. He's one of the creators of the TH-U software that I've been talking about. And today we're going to be talking a little bit more about that software. We're going to be talking about amplifiers, guitars, all that good stuff that you guys like. And we'll also be taking your questions in the chat. So, feel free to jump in and ask your questions. Don't be shy, okay? And obviously, you need to be subscribed to be able to chat. So if you're new and if it's the first time you're tuning in, you have to just join in, subscribe, and a minute later, you'll be able to talk. Okay? All good. So let's jump in. Let's say good morning to Thomas. Thomas, nice to see you.
Hi, Tony. Thank you. Good morning to everybody, and thank you for inviting me to join your live.
It's my pleasure, Thomas. We've been talking for a long time, trying to get a good time to do this, and we finally managed. So I'm really excited to have you today because we're going to be talking about a lot of great stuff, including the TH-U software that I'm a big fan of. And I think hopefully a lot of other people here hopefully have already tried your software, at least the free trial, because I always like to promote things that are great. And for me, I think that the software is tremendous. So I'm going to have a lot of questions. Probably other people here will have questions as well. So we'll jump in.
And I will be happy to reply to every question and talk also to some background stuff and give you some hints, some secret hints on the software. So hopefully we will be able to make this live very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so everybody knows, Thomas is joining us all the way from Italy. So hopefully we won't have any type of glitches today and the internet will be smooth and we won't have any issues. But if we do, have some patience. We'll try and make the best of it. And hopefully the gremlins will stay away today and we won't have any problems. So I want to just start by saying good morning to the guys that are here because we do have usual guests that participate on the live show. So I want to make sure everybody's in good shape. Vinny is here. Cushman is here. Profile Productions. He says, I'm going to be playing a Telecaster today. Actually, it's not. It's the Sir. Thomas, in case you don't know, every time I do a show, they like to guess which guitar I'll be playing. So a lot of people guessed, well, the Profile Production guessed I'd be playing a Telecaster today. Well, I'm not playing the Telecaster, but good guess. And Vinny says that he tried a couple of the artist patches and they were very close to the actual tones on your software. So that's nice to see that people are taking advantage and trying some of the maybe the free trials or something like that. So we'll jump in and we'll talk about all that good stuff. Who else is here? Dan is here. Just scrolling through the list. We have Vinny's World. Zach is here. We have, if you have any questions, guys, don't be shy. You can start asking questions right off the bat. Gene is here. And Mark is here. Paul is here. We have a good group so far. So other people will be joining us as the show goes on. We have more people coming in. So if you're new, welcome. So Thomas, why don't we start from the beginning? Because, first of all, how did you actually get interested, or how did the idea come about to create this type of software? Just so people know a bit of your background, okay? Because guys, just so you know, Thomas is a drummer, so he doesn't actually play guitar, but he came out with this amazing software. So I'm always curious to see like how this started. Yeah, why? Like,
why I didn't create a software for drummers?
Exactly.
No, because even if I was a drummer, but I always liked a lot the guitar tones, and for me, being able to start with a stringed guitar, like a stringed instrument like a guitar, and transform completely its tone, because I was passionate of the distortion tone, which completely transforms the tone of the guitar. And for me, it was magic. And since I've always been passionate of digital stuff, for me, the natural path was trying to reproduce those tones with a computer. And that's how the journey started, because it's a journey that started more than 20 years ago. So TH-U software is 18 years old.
Okay, so it actually started in my math is terrible. So 18 years.
2007.
2007.
The first version came out in 2007.
Wow.
But I and some people of the team started developing it back in 2002.
Wow, that's a long time ago. I'm trying to remember how things were back in 2002, and what kind of gear was around in those days. I don't even remember what was around there in terms of like modeling software.
Yeah, in fact, almost the only modeling hardware and software available were the Line 6 pod.
I remember I had one of those.
And its software version, which ran as a Pro Tools plugin, which I don't remember the name, but I don't remember the name.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. That was crazy.
Yeah, a long time ago, in 2002. That's almost the only real digital modeler available at that time. And soon some software like Guitar Rig, the native instrument Guitar Rig, and A-Key Multimedia Amplitube have been published, just I think 1 year later.
I remember.
And that was the root.
Yeah.
And I remember that at that time, the digital amplifier and the digital gear was seen with a very skeptical feeling.
People were not convinced yet.
No, and they were right, because at that time technology was not so developed like today. So some sounds were terrible.
I remember the pod, but you know what? Yeah. Even though the sound was terrible at the time, it didn't seem terrible, because it was it was pretty good for the time. But if we go back in time today and we listen to it, we're like, oh boy, things changed.
And one of the biggest fear about the digital model at that time was that they sounded harsh. So all the modelers tend to be a lot filtered in the high frequencies, risking to sound muddy, but they absolutely needed to cut every fizziness in the top end, because that was the main complaint about digital models.
So, I remember that,
had a lot of digital and very dark tones.
Yeah, I remember that. That was the main thing with a lot of modelers back then. You have that, the fizz that you couldn't get rid of. And it's come a long way since then. So we're seeing some amazing changes in terms of the technology, and it's all voodoo to me, because I don't really understand how you can take zeros and ones, digital, and turn it into sound. That's like, to me, there's a disconnect between point A and point B. I have no clue what happens in the middle, but maybe eventually you can explain it to us in regular words so we can get a better understanding. So just to clarify, because Rico came in and he's asking, is this for a multi-effects pedal? So Rico, just so you know, we're talking to Thomas Serafini. He's one of the creators of TH-U Overloud. This is the software that I've been talking about for quite a while, which is basically, Thomas, what do you call it? Do you call it a simulator? Do you call it a there's so many different words you can use to
we like to call it a software modeler, because compared to other guitar software, and there are a lot now, but compared to many other software, this is structured more like a hardware modeler, meaning that there are software which has one plugin for every amplifier, or
Mm-hmm.
one plugin for every artist,
Mm-hmm.
or one plugin for every musical style.
Right.
Instead, when you work with a hardware modeler, let's
Yeah.
say an XFX, a Tone Master, you have a unique unit, and all the tones are inside it.
Right. So
And
it's not
the
one
same,
specific tone. It's
yeah,
basically
yes, it's
the
a
entire
container,
rig. Yeah.
yeah, a container which has everything. So you can, with the same gear, you can switch between different tones, if different artists, and different amplifiers. Uh, and this is not always possible with some plugins, because some plugins you need to close the plugin with
Right.
the Marshall amp and open the plugin
With another. Mm-hmm.
with another. Okay, and so TH-U is particularly good for live usage. In fact,
Right.
we have many customers who take TH-U live, bringing a laptop and connecting a MIDI pedal board, or bringing it live with an iPad, because the same software with the same tones and the same processing engine works also on iOS devices. So it's very portable. You can take your iPhone or iPad and a very compact audio interface and
Mm-hmm.
a Bluetooth pedal board and do your live show.
This is something that I was going to ask you, and this is like, for me, I think we're getting to that point where people are, almost like leaving their amplifiers and jumping into the digital platforms now, because they've become so good and they've become so reliable, and they're easy to, you can get all your sounds. It's easy to take and take with you or wherever you need to go. And just go into the front of house, or an FR speaker, or whatever you're using to get the sounds that you want, and you have everything there, like it's all there in one small laptop, or portable device. So that's crazy that you're able to do that today, but it's
Yeah.
amazing how we've become spoiled with all this stuff now. I want to just say good morning to Vox Guitars Rock is here. Rob is here. Gene also came in. And Gene has a question. He says, so what equipment do you need to use this product? So maybe you can answer
Yeah.
that question.
So you need a computer or an iPhone or an iPad, so an iOS device. Then you need an audio interface, which is a device which allows you to connect the guitar to the computer and the computer to the speakers or the headphones. And that's it. If you want to use it with a pedal board, you need a MIDI pedal board.
Yeah.
But basically, the software does what a modeler does in the hardware. So if you get let's say an XFX, because it's a great example, you have into the XFX you have a computer, the DSP, and an audio interface, because you have analog inputs where you can connect the guitar, and outputs that you can connect to the mixer or to the headphones. And since a computer does not have built in that analog part, you need an external audio interface, which is a box that you can connect with an USB cable to the
Right.
computer.
Right. So just so you know, Gene, I'm using this through my audio interface, just going into my software on my computer. But I do like to route the sound from my audio interface to my monitors. I have two monitors here that you can't see on the screen, but and I just play in the room. And it's like, playing through your favorite amplifier and through your favorite rig. You have everything, and the sound's very good. And actually, it's probably better than my regular amplifiers, because all the stereo effects are in stereo, and not in mono, and you can do so many things with the the different all the different
Mm-hmm.
effects that are built into the unit. So for me, it's even more flexible than a regular rig. We have another question here. This is more of a technical question. David says, so do you code your own DAC ADC, or do you leverage what is available from the chipset? So I think David is a little bit of a techno geek over here, because he's asking questions I don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
So
okay. No, digital to analog
yeah,
converter
I
and
got that
analog to
part.
digital
Yeah.
converter. Okay, so well, actually, TH-U is a software, and so it uses the DAC and ADC converters
Yep.
that are into the audio interface. So TH-U has no chipset and no hardware device because it's a software. But in order to work, requires a sound interface which has those ADC and DA and AD converters and its own chipset to work.
That's that clarifies a lot for me. Again, I don't know a lot about the back end stuff and how this all, how you program all this stuff. That's the part that I'd love to understand a bit better, but we'll get to that later. I just wanted to jump in, guys. If you're new, you just dropped in. Just so you know, we're here with Thomas Serafini, one of the creators of TH-U Overloud, and he's here to actually, answer our questions. We're going to be talking about the software. We're going to be talking about a little history, some cool stories that Thomas is going to tell us about, how some of these app models came to be. And also, if you have any questions, don't be shy. We're going to be talking a lot. Just ask the questions and we'll get to it. Plus, we'll be also doing a little giveaway. But that's going to be towards the end of the show. So you have to stick around for that. But Thomas has a little prize that he wants to offer a lucky viewer today. So if you stick around, you have a good chance of walking away with something very cool today. So stick around, and we'll jump into some more chit chat. Thomas, maybe you want to show the software on the screen and just
Yes.
explain to us, what basically it does.
Just a brief overview of
Yeah, a little quick overview. So if people haven't tried it, maybe they know a little bit more about what the actual software offers and how it works.
So the software is very visual. So it tries to show on the screen your usual analog rig. So this is a very basic rig. So you have an amplifier and one cabinet, and you're free to edit and work on the models like you do with the real stuff. So you turn knobs, you move microphones, and you have advanced options like customizing the tubes, so you can change the tube model, the preamp tube model.
So this is something. Sorry, Thomas. This is something that I think a lot of people don't realize, that you have the ability to go like so deep. It's not just amplifier and pedal. Like you can go into even selecting the nuances of using different tubes. So if you guys are really, I'm going to say cork sniffers in English. Sometimes we use that term for people that are very picky about the sound, and they're, just looking at the nuances of the different types of tubes and whatnot. You can do all that stuff with the software. This is why it's mind blowing. Sorry, Thomas. Go ahead. I just wanted to.
Okay. And then you can add overdrive pedals like this. Just take the model from the list and drag it into the sound on the interface to create your sound chain, and you graphically see the path of the tone. So imagine your guitar is connected here at the input of the leftmost model, and then you follow the cable.
Yeah, like in a real setup.
Like in a real setup. So tube 9 goes into the Centuria, which is the center clone model, and then goes into the amplifier, and then goes into the cabinet.
Right.
And then you can add also rack effects.
Yes, and there's a lot of really cool rack effects in there. Some of them that I'm not even familiar with, but I've been playing around with them for a while, and they all sound great. So you can go crazy and really like build up amazing things with this.
Everything is very visual into this software. And since you mentioned that when you play TH-U through your monitor is like playing the real amplifier, that's true, but there is an important difference that I think it's important to explain. Because what TH-U does, and every modeler, also the hardware modelers do, is that they also simulate the microphones. So it's like you are hearing an amplifier recorded through microphones, and you are in the control room listening to the amplifier through monitors. It's not like being in front of the cabinet, because if you are in front of the cabinet, you have the direct tone of their speakers. So maybe you have 4x12 big speakers, a big enclosure, and so you have a lot of air moving, and you have also a physical sensation, being in front of the guitar cabinet. While when you listen through monitors, like imagine you are in a recording studio and you have the amplifier and the cabinet into the recording room.
Yeah.
And you are in the control room in front of the mixing desk and in front of the studio monitors. What you are hearing is not the air coming from the cabinet, but it's that tone recorded through microphones.
That's right.
Gone through the preamplifier of the desk.
Yeah.
And finally, you hear it through headphones or through monitors, which have typically smaller speakers.
Exactly.
So to those who say, well, it's different, yes, it's different.
It is different, but it's better.
Yeah, it's different. No, it's different. I don't say it's better or it's worse. It's different.
It's because it's less raw, right? When you have the sound, it's more of a finished, polished sound. Whereas, if you're in front of the amplifier in a room, it's not going to sound that great, because it's going to be overpowering. It's not going to be fitting into the mix right. But if you go through the software, like you're saying, through the speakers, and what you're hearing is like the recorded sound, you have more control. You have better control.
And in fact, being in front of the real amp, rarely you have a finished tone, meaning that you typically add effects after the cabinet and the microphone when you record a guitar tone. Maybe you add reverbs,
right,
and other
goodies,
effects,
other
EQ, and and so listening through a software, through a modeler, allows you to have a more complete tone. You have much more control, and it's much easier to experiment and to switch different tones and different amplifiers. Because here, if I just want to change amplifier, just click one button and I can
and you can change it.
Walk through a huge variety of amplifiers.
So we have a couple of questions here. So before we go further, I just wanted to just address some of that. So David says, so you can even change the bias on the tubes. I don't know if the bias is modifiable or if it's just tubes.
No, in this case, you cannot change the bias of the tube, but you can change the voltage of the power supply,
so I'm going to
simulating the action of a variac.
So that's a cool thing too, because anybody that's an Eddie Van Halen fan probably has heard the term variac. So basically, that's how much voltage is going to the power tubes, I guess. So you can do less or more, so you can get more sag, you can get more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you lower the voltage to the tubes using a variac, you make the amplifier distorting more, because the threshold over which it starts to create harmonics becomes lower.
Right.
So the amp is more crunchy.
Exactly, and we all love that crunch, so that's always a good thing. We have Rico here, so he says, so you need a computer to hear your guitar. He's asking the question, or does this plug into an amp somehow? So I don't think you could plug it into an amplifier directly. You have to play it through a computer.
Yes, it's not suggested to plug the computer output into an amplifier, because the amplifier and its cabinet adds a lot of coloration
Right.
to the tone. So the amplifier and the cabinet tone are already simulated by the software. So you need a more linear
Sound source.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to use FR speakers or studio monitors or headphones, but it's not suggested to use an amplifier to amplify.
Yeah, basically you want to have something that's flat. You want to have something that will reproduce the sound from the software that is flat.
Mm-hmm.
And usually a guitar cabinet doesn't do that. It's going to add its own flavor to the sound.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to know. That's a good question. I appreciate that. So guys, if you the people that are joining us late today, I'm just going to recap again. So we're talking about the TH-U software here, and we have Thomas here giving us sort of an overview of what the software can do, and it can do a heck of a lot. We have a question here. Vox is asking, will this work on my Commodore 64? I think he's kidding. I think that's a joke. But you know, we have some comedians here as well. But some people might have older software. It's actually older computers. It's actually true. Is there a limit to how far back you can go in terms of computers that work with the software?
Well, in terms of CPU power, there are almost no limits, because this software is pretty light on the CPU requirement. But we need to be compatible with new operating systems, and as soon as Apple and Windows release a new version, we need to keep the software up to date. And this means that we cannot be compatible with older operating systems. So if you have a very old computer with let's say a very old macOS version, we cannot support it anymore, because Apple doesn't allow that. So if you want to be compatible with the latest macOS 26,
right.
You cannot be compatible with, let's say, 10.2. I don't remember the name.
Right. So no Commodore 64 box.
No Commodore 64, unfortunately.
So searching for...
Even if I was passionate of Commodore 64, it was my first computer.
It was a good computer back in the day, for sure.
Yes.
Searching for Tone says, will this work on an iPad? So I think the answer is yes, but not necessarily the early ones, perhaps. But but the recent ones, you should be able to do whatever you need to do.
We're compatible from iOS 12 and higher. So iOS 12 is a very, very old operating system. I mean, I think it was 7 years ago. So yeah, I don't know if there are still iPads with that OS.
Well, there probably are a few lying around somewhere, but probably those people are not using it for this type of application.
We have one at office just to check the compatibility of the software, and it's still working there. So,
so it's good to know that there is a certain amount of backwards compatibility, even if you have a few, like a computer that's not maybe a 2025 model, it'll still work. Gene wants to know, can he use this with Cakewalk?
Yes, and also Cakewalk comes with a pre-installed TH-U version, which is not the premium version with all the 250 models. It has just a selection, but yes, it's possible as a VST plugin.
So you have a lot of options in terms of how you can use the software. Searching for Tone has another question. He says, that's awesome, I never knew that. Do you have to buy separate products, or does the version work on both? So I think he's talking about if you're using it on different platforms. Good question.
It's a good question. So there are different products, but we have a license extension policy, meaning because Apple doesn't allow to sell software on on a private shop like our website
Right. You
and
have to go
have
through
it
Apple.
okay, you need to pay at least a small amount of money to Apple.
Of course.
And so what we do is that you can buy the computer version of the software, and with $1 you can extend the license to iOS.
Good to
And
know.
Apple is happy about that.
Good to know. See, that's something I didn't know. That's a good tip.
It's $1 for each pack, so for each product.
Yeah, right. The profile is asking here, does the IRs make a big difference in I'm assuming he's talking about the overall tone.
Does the IR make me? Well, I'm not sure I have understood your question, but IR.
Because I think he's thinking, because if I'm not mistaken, like the software doesn't really use IRs, right?
Oh yes, it uses IRs.
You can load your own impulse responses.
Yes,
you can. Okay.
We have different ways to. It's a big chapter. The IRs are big and important chapter. So maybe I can just give a
go ahead.
Overview.
Let me switch to the software so you can actually show it if you want to.
Okay. So first, these built-in cabinets. At their inside, they have IRs because that's the only way to effectively reproduce a cabinet tone. So when you move the microphone, it just loads very quickly, the corresponding IR in his huge database of IRs that we have for different positions of the microphone. So the engine works with IR. Then you have the chance to load your IR. So when you have a cabinet, you can, instead of microphone, select IR and load your own IRs. And also, we have a special component in TH-U, which is called Super Cabinet, which is this one, which is a very advanced IR processor, which allows you to load up to 4 different IRs, mix them, and also it allows to graphically browse IR libraries, because when you typically get an IR library, you have that long list of files with strange names, because in the file name it's embedded which speaker, which cabinet, which microphone, which position, and so it's pretty difficult to find the right IR you want. So in TH-U, we have libraries of IRs. For example, these are the official Jensen speaker IR libraries. And it allows to graphically browse the library. So you choose the microphone, and you choose the position, and choose the distance of the microphone, and he loads the corresponding IR, and it shows its graphic, and you can do a lot of creative stuff with this. And
so what you're saying, if I understand correctly, Thomas, so basically you've taken the ability to like you're basically taking just a regular one IR selection, and you're showing graphically all the customizations you can make specifically to that IR.
Yeah, you can load your individual IRs if you already have IR libraries, or if you have created your own. But also, as an add-on product, we have IR libraries like this.
Let me just show that.
Every icon here is an IR collection. For example, if I load this, I have this library contains 200-300 IRs, and it allows to select them graphically. Here you see the IR name, but usually selecting IRs by name is difficult, so that's why we allows you to browse the IRs into these libraries graphically.
That's
So
that's really
at the end,
nice.
we have more than 40,000 IRs, because count the number of
That's
libraries. Each library has from
that's,
300 to 1,000 IRs.
that's crazy.
So you have a lot of content.
So you see, Thomas, this is something that I wish there was more time, because there's so many things that the software
Yeah.
can do. Like that super cabinet function, just that you could spend days probably playing
Days.
around,
Yeah, yeah.
with
Because
just that.
I'll give you another interesting insight of the super cabinet.
Yeah, sure.
Instead of just mixing the IRs, you have this function mode called multiband, and so let's say you have an IR where you particularly like the bass of that cabinet, and you have another IR of a cabinet where you like the top end. And so how can I take the low end of the first IR and the top end of the second IR and create a new hybrid cabinet?
Yeah.
You can do with this function. You can load up to 3 IR. You see the band is the spectrum is divided into 3 bands, and on each band, you load a different IR, so you can create.
Wow, that's crazy.
Someone call it a Frankencab, Frankenstein cab.
So I'm sure that whoever came up with that idea, there was probably some wine involved or something.
Yes, a lot of beer.
A lot of beer. Yeah, that's actually pretty amazing that you're actually able to do that.
This is just to say how deep you can go. We try to keep the interface, the top interface, simple. Just displaying the image of the components like you are working on with a real pedal board, but you can go deeper and deeper and customize tone, change the tubes, mix the IRs, and do a lot of creative stuff.
So this is something that, again, I think people need to understand, because I think there's a lot of people that don't like too much options because they get confused. They don't know how to do it. It's like they're not engineers. They just want to play their guitar. So this is what I'm trying to make people understand. Like, you do have the option. If you don't want to play around with all those things, yes, you can go and pull up a sound and play. You don't have to worry about, being a sound engineer. Because I understand some people just are not comfortable with that. So like, for example, Gene here, he's saying, I don't like fussing with many settings. Does it have a lot of presets? So yes, it does have a lot of presets that you can just play without necessarily having to mess around with it. They sound great. But if you need to have that extra flexibility, you can also, dig deeper and create your own sound. So for example, MFN here says, so if there's a particular artist I like, for example, Mark Knopfler, can I punch in his name and magically emulate his tone? So I'll let you answer that.
Well, it's not that direct, but we every month we publish a new bank of preset for free, and you can see them on our website. And most of them are inspired to artists. So you can just go to the website, look for an artist name, and check if that artist is
available.
Is available. And we have created the presets for that artist, and just download the bank for free, and you can start to play it. If you have already installed into TH-U, and I don't know if my screen is shared now.
Yeah, it is.
But, okay, so here in this left column, we have a list of banks, and each bank have its own presets. And through the search function, you can search a name. For example, if I search Marty Friedman, in this case, Marty Friedman, and in this case you find the bank of Marty Friedman
inspired
patches.
Sounds, let's say. But
I know this is more than inspired, because we have created an official pack with him. So we have his official tone created by him.
I didn't know that. That's good to know too. And that was another question I was going to ask later on, But like I was gonna say, did you have you worked specifically with specific artists? And I guess the answer is yes,
Yeah.
because you just answered
Yeah.
that question. So that's good to know
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. Yes. With artists like Marty Friedman and Greg Howe. We recently did a pack with Max Ostro and many other artists.
So the question here is, do you have a sound in there for, let's say, Mark Knopfler, or something that sounds like that Dire Straits sound? I think you do, because I was playing through the sounds earlier and I think I saw one. I don't remember what it was called, but I think there is one in there. And I don't want to put you on the spot because I know there's so many, but I'm going to answer the question. There is a sound in there, MFN, that does give you that Mark Knopfler sound. I don't know if it was called Sultans, for Sultans of Swing or something like that, but
Maybe.
I came across it.
Mm,
So it's
mm, mm.
probably hard to keep track of all the stuff that you have in there now.
I don't remember everything because here I haven't installed all the presets
And
we
there's a
created,
lot.
but maybe, and yeah, but there's a lot, and maybe if we have installed all of them and look for Mark, or
Yeah, I think if you
if I
type in,
search for Dire Straits,
I think
something
I think if you
is
put in
here.
Sultans, I think the word was Sultans that I
So
saw, or something like
Sultan of
that.
Swing. Okay, yeah,
Something like
okay,
that.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
But so we have another question here, and this is from Searching for Tone. He says, "Don't mean to put you on the spot, but what makes THU better than competition? I don't understand any of the digitals, but your product seems to be better."
Okay. This is, I need to reply in a very honest way.
Yeah.
So uh, today, the technology has done a very big steps ahead. So also competitor products are great. I think you should find the one which more resonates with your needs, your musical style, and your also your feeling when you use this product. So I can say which, in my opinion, are the best feature of THU, and are the fact that it's a unique plugin which has everything into it, meaning that you have all the tones at your fingertips. You can immediately use the search function to look for everything. And when you play live, you can switch between tones without the need to open and close plugins. And also another good point is that we have a very advanced simulation technology. In fact, this is one of the topics that maybe we can cover later.
Sure.
We have been selected by an important private collection of amplifiers. This collection has into it the amplifiers owned by legendary artists. I meaning that there is the Jimmy Page amplifier, so the real amplifier played by Jimmy Page, the real amplifier played by Keith Richards, and so on. And they were looking for a company which was able to recreate that tone in order to keep those things alive forever.
So
Because
to preserve
to
those
preserve
vintage
the
sounds,
tone, the
right?
tone. And after checking different companies, they decided to work with us because we have a very um, advanced technology to capture and to simulate the tone of the amplifier. Maybe we can talk about that later
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
want to
absolutely. That's an
dig a
interesting,
little bit more
for
into
sure, for
technical
sure.
stuff. And I think THU is the unique software that in addition to IRs, it has the fluid IRs, which are an enhanced version of the IRs, because the IR can just capture some parts of the tone of a cabinet, so the linear part, but an IR cannot replicate the harmonic and the dynamic behavior of a cabinet, while fluid IRs can. And this is integrated into the software, and you have everything both on computer and mobile devices. So these are very, I think, strong point for THU. In addition, we have packs created with artists, and many of that Made in Rock collection I was mentioning available for THU. So you are able to play the model of the amplifier owned by the Led Zeppelin, owned by the by Keith Richards, and so on. So
that makes me
for me,
really,
there are good points, but maybe
yeah.
for you, you're looking for something different, and another product may be better.
You know
So
what? I've tried different products, and honestly, like the fact that you're taking so much attention, and like you said, the private collector comes to you and says, "Hey, I have these beautiful amplifiers, the real amplifiers from certain artists, and I want to be able to preserve them." And you're able to do that with your software. That already proves to me that you have the ability to do that. You have the flexibility, and you have the technology. So that speaks volumes in terms of. I don't think there's that many limitations in terms of what you can't do with your software, which is great. And I love the artist packs. I love the Jimmy Page sounds. I was playing them earlier today. I'm a big Jimmy Page fan, so we can possibly maybe make them hear a couple of sounds afterwards as well. I'll plug in my
and
computer, but here I'll just
yeah,
share what you're sharing on the screen. So this is the actual Jimmy Page amplifier.
the real one.
So
This
this
is the one of the room of. So there is this Italian
collector.
Italian collector. Yes, his name is Mariano Freschi, and he created a collection named Made in Rock. He created this collection over the last 20 or 30 years, purchasing amplifiers and guitars and instruments, also clothes at auctions. And so he has the amplifiers and the guitar of a lot of legendary artists. Like, this is in particular the amplifier of the Led Zeppelin. In fact, on the rear of the cabinet, you see.
That's cool.
So that's true. And we have modeled captured and modeled this amplifier, and then I'll explain the difference.
Yeah.
And made it available into TH-U. And you can see in this picture, but on the panel of the amplifier,
Yeah.
there are some markings, handwritten, hand-drawn marks. You can see it here. And we also replicated that in the interface. So I stop sharing this and share.
Yeah, go ahead. Show me that. This is the stuff I geek over. I love this kind of stuff. So,
so here I say Led and Jim. Sorry, I'm in the super cabinet section. So Led. So if I zoom
in, yeah,
in here, you see there are also the same marks replicated.
You put them in too. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's cool.
And everything is modeled. Also, the ability to
switch the inputs.
Put a jumper. Yeah.
You see, I didn't even know that. I didn't even play with that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
because that was typically done on that JMP50 amplifier. So you put a jumper between inputs 1 and 2, and then connect the guitar to input 1 in order to have both channel play together, and so you can balance them. So everything, any nuance of the tone have been captured. And on our website, you can see A/B comparisons between the software and the amplifier.
So I do that all the time with my Marshall, but I didn't even think about trying to do that with your software because, at the end, I think a lot of times we're used to limitations in software. Sometimes we're like, it probably doesn't do that. So you don't try it. But, your software always amazes me because it seems like every little thing you want to do, you can do it. So
you can do it.
It's very well thought out. And even just like the way, I'm just going to share the screen one more time that you were sharing, but even just like the fact that you take the time to kind of reproduce the look of the actual cabinets with, the wear and, try and make it look like the real thing. Like you said, the little markings. And like, I don't know a lot of companies that actually will do that. And you're taking the time to put on all those little nuances, which I think is fantastic. I love that.
I think that's important because tone is just not the only thing you see. When you use a software, um, you also but let me explain with different words. Also, your eyes are important for the tone, because
True.
if you have something that looks like the real thing and give the same feeling of use, you are more immersed in that vibe. When you are using an important amplifier, like a head used by a legendary artist like Jimmy Page, you want to be immersed in that era, in that tone,
Right.
and
Right.
so all the details, also the graphical details, are important to be there.
Exactly, to give you like that little snapshot of like that little
Mhm,
point in time where they were using these type of really cool amplifiers, which is really nice.
mhm.
There's a couple of questions, so I don't want to ignore the questions here. Rob says, will there be a Tony addicted to gear downloadable preset? Rob, I think there's already one. It's the Jimmy Page patch. Because I love it so much. So I probably would do something exactly like that anyways. So that comes pretty close to what I would create anyway. So it's like it's already there. Just play around with that one. Um, Steve has a question here. He says, Thomas, will the TH-U software work in conjunction with Two Notes? So the Two Notes torpedo hardware, I believe he's talking about.
No, because Two Notes has its own software. So the only thing you can do is to export IRs, and with the super cabinet you can do that. If you create your particular cabinet tone
You,
with a super cabinet,
you
maybe
ha-
you do a lot of customization here. You change
can
the tone. You
can you
if you
share your screen, Thomas?
Oh,
Because
sorry,
I
sorry.
don't see
Oh,
it.
sorry.
Yeah.
I was using the software, but it wasn't sharing
It's
the
okay.
screen. So,
Yeah.
um, if you create your own cabinet tone by doing a lot of editing, you mix IRs, you load other IRs, and you create your cabinet tone that you like. You can export it, and it will be exported as a standard wave file, and then you can import into the Torpedo or in any other Two Notes devices.
Software. See, this is something
Yeah,
else I didn't know. I'm learning
but
so much today, Thomas. These are things that are amazing because, like I said, you almost need to have like a week course to really go in and
oh
see
yeah.
all the little things you can do. But again, so far, there's nothing that somebody asked that you said, no, we can't really do that. It's like everything is pretty much doable. So you thought of like all the details that
Mm-mm.
make the tool so great. One other thing here, we're Profile Productions says, can you use Bluetooth TWS with your plugins? So I don't know what he
Uh,
means by that.
by TWS, I don't, well, if you mean Bluetooth pedal boards, yes. Um, you can use MIDI and Bluetooth pedal boards to control the software, and TH-U has a very
I think we may have. Uh, sorry, Thomas, you're glitching a little bit.
switching up and down presets, but you can load scenes, you can switch on and off the effects in the sound chain, you can use expression pedals to play the one, the volume, a lot of things. You can customize everything with the MIDI.
So another yes. You can.
But I don't know if what. Okay.
I'm
Oh,
not
sorry,
sure.
it's a bit lagging.
Yeah, it's a little laggy, but we got the most of what you said. Just the
Okay.
beginning, it cut off a little bit there,
Okay.
but it's okay.
Okay.
And there were some other questions. Vinny's World says, does THU work with Ableton?
Yes. Ableton can load VST or audio unit plugins, and TH-U is a plugin. So yeah, you can.
And Boomerang says, please do a Linux version like ToneLib do. I don't know. I don't know if that's in the plans or not.
So I think this is one of the rare things that we say no, it's not possible now, and we don't have plans to do this by now.
Okay, so maybe there's
Sorry
not that
about
many Linux users that are wanting to use your software. Maybe there's not enough. Okay, Boomerang wants to know, what do you use to capture the hardware? So I'm sure this is quite a technical question.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know how much technical can I go.
Well, give us the elevator version, the short version.
That's my favorite part.
Me
so
too. Me too. I could talk to you for an hour.
I can speak for a couple of days without
yeah.
stopping. But
for
trying
sure.
we have three ways to recreate a tone. First way is modeling. Modeling is where everything started, because the Line 6 pod was based on modeling. Modeling means that you take the schematic, the electrical schematic of a device, and so it describes how the tone is processed. So that tubes, amplifies, these resistors and capacitance do the kind of EQ and so on, and you transform this into an algorithm, into a DSP algorithm. And this is modeling. And the advantage of modeling is that you can also replicate how the knobs behaves, meaning that, for example, when you raise the drive or the gain knob of an amplifier, typically that's not just more amplification, but it changes the EQ before the distortion. For example, the early Marshall, when you raise the gain, they amplify more and more the bass frequencies. When the drive is low, you have less bass. Okay, and so everything of this can be replicated with modeling, which is what we did. All the models you see in the model column of TH-U are created like this. Then you have capturing. Capturing is creating profiles. The first one was the Camper. Camper is able to inject a test signal into a system, an amplifier, an amplifier cabinet. It records what happens with that tone signal, and from this measuring process, it creates a profile, which is a fixed snapshot of that amplifier, meaning that it's a picture. So if you turn a knob, you need to take another profile, at least with Camper and all devices that works like that. Okay, and this is what we do with. Is my screen shared?
I'll share it right now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. This is what we do. So we have three columns here in TH-U, 1, 2, and 3. And with this first column, we have all the models, effects, pedals, amplifiers created by modeling. Here we have libraries of captures. We cannot say profile because profile is a trademark of Camper, but the concept is the same. And these are lists of profile. So every row is this amplifier, in this case a tri-axis, captured with a particular setting and with a particular cabinet and with a particular microphone. And these are the IRs. So third way, which is our newest way to replicate the tone of an amplifier, is using what we call fluid modeling. And with fluid modeling, we created all the Made in Rock models. fluid modeling, what it does. So you know that especially vintage amplifiers have components with a high tolerances, meaning that you don't have two samples which sound the same, because a resistor, you look on the electrical schematic, it says 100 kilo ohm. Okay, but it can be 80, it can be 120,
Right.
and they're always different.
Right.
And also on very old, very vintage amplifiers, nowadays they have 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. What happened in between?
They
How many
degrade.
times they have been serviced?
Right.
Maybe they have
Changed,
changed
modified.
transformers, and who knows? So everyone has its unique tone print.
Right.
And so when you create an analog model, you cannot have all these nuances. You replicate the electrical schematic, but not that particular sample.
Right.
Instead, with capturing a profile, you have that particular sound, but you don't have the full dynamic of all the knob.
That
so
one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what we do is taking the best of the two worlds. Both. So we start with a model, then we do a lot of capturing, and we update the model, making it sound exactly like the captures. So you have the best of the two worlds. You have all the full dynamics of the amplifier like a model, the full working of all the knobs like the real amp, but also that specific tone of that particular sample of the amplifier.
And this is why I think that, basically this is why I like this software so much, because it's not sterile like some of the other ones, because of these facts that you have the ability to do all these great things. So I'm gonna share your screen again. I think you want to show us a little.
Because
go ahead. Yeah.
For example, look, talking of vintage amplifier, this is Noel Gallagher.
Yep.
And he's sitting on his Vox AC30 at the Locomotive Studios, and you barely realize that this is a Vox AC30 because
you can't really see it.
It has been customized a lot. Right. This is what I mean. If we start from if we take a AC30 schematic, we won't have the tone of Noel Gallagher AC30 because he has modded it a lot.
Correct.
Okay, and so that's why also the capturing part is important. And this is the one of the collection of the Made in Rock collection. You see, it's the same because these decorations are only he has these decorations.
And you guys put it in your model too? You put it on the screen?
Yes.
Oh, man.
And this was during our capturing process.
So sorry, one of the questions here, and this is, now that we see the picture, it's a good time to ask it. So Boomerang wants to know, do you use SM57s to capture? Do you use a series of different microphones? Because
a series of different microphones.
Okay, yes. So it's not just one; it's different.
No, not one. No.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I look at here. I think you're using 57s. I think. But
in this setup, yes, because capturing process is very long because we repeat it with different microphones, with different position of the microphones, and with different amp settings. So it takes at least a couple of days to do all the captures.
That's cool.
Of an amplifier. Yeah,
I'd love to see that process, man. I love that. I think that would be so much fun just to be able to do that. It takes time. I know it's meticulous work, very specific work, but it's something that must be amazing when you actually do capture it and you're listening back in the software and you're like, yeah, we nailed it. That's the one. That's how it sounds.
Yes, it's also interesting when I do all the capturing, then I listen to the software and oh my God, it's completely different. What went wrong?
So, it's like, what do we do? Oh man, something's wrong.
Right, to check.
It's very difficult.
I mean, it happens. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody here has played around with trying to get like I have amplifiers behind me. I have a few different ones, and sometimes I'm trying to record the amplifier, and I'm trying to go into my recording software, and I want to hear the amplifier in my recording software the way I hear it in the room. It's not easy to do. It's very difficult. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to get like a live amplifier in a room to reproduce that in software. But it's definitely a process. So I could appreciate how much time and effort you're putting into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, since we have covered a technical topic, maybe we can just move to a more artistic and story topic. And if it's my screen shared right now.
It is.
Okay. So, who knows which band was this?
I could raise my hand, but I guess I'm not going to qualify. So I'll let somebody else answer the question here. So, guys, what band is this? Do you guys recognize the group? This is a skill testing question. We want to see who's paying attention here and who can answer the question. I got it right away, but just by the shape of that guitar. I think it's a giveaway, but maybe some other people here might not know. So let's give them a second. Let's see what they say.
And because there is an interesting story behind.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell the story.
This concert, but we need to say which was the band.
What was the band? Okay. So nobody answered the question.
Nobody answered.
Okay. Maybe they're younger. Here we go. Steve said Rolling Stones. Steve knows the answer. There you go.
Yeah.
Right answer, Steve.
Yeah. So the Rolling Stones. This was the Blackpool concert. It was a very famous, negatively famous concert because when the concert started, some people at the front row started to spit and insult the musicians, and everything ended up in a huge riot. And you see, this is what happens after the riot.
So that's the disaster.
More than 50 persons went to hospital, were hospitalized, and the stage was completely destroyed. Okay. And one interesting fact is this amplifier. This was Keith Richards' Vox AC30, which fell off the stage. In fact, you see it's, well, a little bit broken here and there.
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit banged up.
But it's still worked as an amplifier. And Mariano Freschi was able to purchase it for his collection.
So this guy's got like tons of money and he doesn't know what to do with it, but he loves gear. So he should be on the show.
Well, maybe we can invite
that would be fantastic. Sure.
He has a lot of stories on artists to be.
I'm sure he does.
And so he was able to purchase at auction this amplifier, and we have replicated it into TH-U. So let me share again TH-U.
So do you know who actually, was that Keith Richards' amplifier, or was that Brian Johnson's amplifier?
No, Keith Richards' amplifier.
That was Keith Richards. Okay.
It was played by Keith Richards.
Okay, cool. And you guys replicated that specific amplifier. So let's have a look.
This one.
There you go. Cool, very cool looking, and you can see even the details in terms of the grit and the tears.
We also replicated the Noel Gallagher one. You see,
that's the other one.
If you remember the previous picture, but anyway.
So you can actually mix both if you want, right? You don't know, but nothing stops you from doing that if you wanted to. Very cool. Can you just zoom in on the top of that amplifier for a second? So you see, there's even the Keith Richards little square identifier on the right hand side.
This is the only thing that was not in the real amplifier. We added this label just to because we have many AC30s modeled into TH-U, so this will help to understand which one you are playing.
You're using exactly. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah, and everything here is modeled, so you have all the channels, also the vibrato tremolo, and so on. And one interesting thing of this particular model, because it wasn't the top boost. This was the original 6 knob version, so
Right.
without the top boost.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of more gain than the Noel Gallagher one, even
Ah.
if it's an AC30. I don't know why. Also, there's another difference, and here the speed knob of the vibrato tremolo section has only 3 positions, is a selector with
Ah,
3
okay.
positions.
That's not
The real
usual.
amplifier is that, like that, while the AC30 of Noel Gallagher has a continuous knob like this. No,
Right.
sorry, like this. So you can
Uh-huh.
have all the in-between positions for the speed.
So that's a modification that was done somewhere along the line, maybe, or
Um, I think it's a modification of this amplifier because, in my understanding, the knob should be continuous.
exactly. That's how I've
And
always
also,
seen it.
this sounds
Yeah.
with a lot more gain. So maybe it has been modded.
Probably. Yeah. Probably at some point.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an information I wasn't able to find in the
To
archives.
research. Yeah, because
Mm-mm.
this is one thing that people also like don't always think about, but it's a good point that you're bringing up because sometimes, a lot of other software modelers or, software packages, they'll give you a standard Marshall. They'll give you, a standard Fender or whatever. So let's say you're an Eric Clapton fan, for example, and you think, okay, I'm going to take a Fender Tweed and I'm going to try and get that Eric Clapton sound. But what people don't realize is the stuff that these artists use are all customized. It's all different. It's not going to be something that you're just going to go into a store, buy an amplifier, and it's going to give you that sound. These guys have professionals working on their amplifiers. They tweak it, they modify it to their liking, they change all kinds of different things. So it's not an off the shelf type of sound that you can get easily. But this is why it's so cool with this software that Thomas is actually going and meeting with a collector that actually owns these amplifiers, and it's not like he's inventing the sound. He's actually taking a snapshot of that particular amplifier, so you're getting like a carbon copy of the original tone, which is impossible to get anywhere. You can't buy that really. So this is the cool part that I like about all of this great stuff. There was a
Yeah.
couple of questions here. I'm just going to go just go back quickly here. Um, uh, so we missed a couple of early questions. So, well, Shane says sorry he's late. His wife wanted to go to the movies. So it's okay, Shane. No worries. It's good that your wife is happy. So Gene wants to know, as a newbie, as a new person to this, this vocabulary means I need to study. Is this a subscription service or do they offer online tutorials? So the software you buy the license. Once you have the license, you own the software
Forever. It's not
forever.
based on subscriptions.
Yeah, you don't have to pay a monthly thing, and you can buy additional packs of sounds depending on the artist or what you're looking for. Do they offer online tutorials? At this stage, I don't know. I don't. Maybe again, Thomas, you can answer
Mm,
this. There's a lot of
there-
tutorials online, like on
yeah.
YouTube.
On our YouTube channel, we have different kind of tutorials. Some are more focused on creating the tone of a particular artist, and other are tutorials which explain the main features of TH-U. For example, there is a tutorial on the super cabinet, and another tutorial on the MIDI, and so on. So yes, there are a lot of tutorial for each main topic of the software. And also, we have started a project with Marco Fanton, which is an Italian YouTuber. We started 1 year ago the TH-U school, but that was in Italian only. But recently, he started to do also tutorial in English. And we have just the first 2 by now, but we're planning to do 1
More.
each month.
Beautiful.
And and there are much more practical tutorials, because Marc Fanton is mainly a guitar player. He plays live professionally, and he uses TH-U, and so he explains how he creates his own tones, and takes the chance also to explain TH-U features more in depth while he uses it for his tones.
Yeah, and for people that don't know, Marc is an amazing player. He's also Italian. He's located in Italy. He does a lot of sessions with a lot of artists, and great player. And he does have very, very good tutorials. So if anybody's interested in checking those out, definitely do that. Thomas, can you share your the website or the YouTube website where they can find this? These tutorials?
Yeah. Okay, so just one minute.
Yeah. In the meantime,
let me open.
I'll look at some more questions here, and also on YouTube. And also, I wanted to mention the fact that there's also a group, a Facebook group. If ever you want to join in, you just have to type in TH-U Overloud. You can find that group, and that's also a good place to maybe ask some questions. If ever you're stuck anywhere, you can also go there.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I've been
because I was logged into the.
Take your time. Don't worry, it's all good. I'm looking at the other comments here. So right now, you guys, if you're enjoying what we're talking about here, please give us a thumbs up. If you're coming in late and you don't know what we're talking about, basically, we're looking at the TH-U software here with Thomas, and Thomas is the creator of the software. So we wanted to basically give you guys a little bit of a deep dive into what it can do, but a little history. And we've been talking about some of the great models that Thomas has put together in the software. And these models are basically captures of actual historic amplifiers that are owned by different collectors. And he's put them together in this package. And you can do so much with these sounds. So it's really, really something cool. So this is the where they can find the
Overloud audio tools.
Okay.
So maybe we can share the link, but
sure,
you can just go on our website, which is www.overloud.com.
Yep.
And there is a YouTube link
there,
or look for Overloud on
audio
YouTube.
Tools. Yeah.
And we have a lot of tutorials. For example, the most recent ones. There is one very interesting, which explains how you can optimize your tone for different pickups. Because if you need, for example, to change between a Les Paul and a Strat, and have a presets which are balanced for both for each one. Here there are many tricks, like creating 2 scenes, one of each optimized for every pickup, and they're very practical tutorials.
Because if people don't realize, like a lot of the humbuckers obviously have more output than a regular single coil pickup or a P90 pickup. So sometimes when you switch between your patches, it could be optimized for one over the other. So being able to set up different views of the same, let's say, equipment, but one is going to be maybe giving you a little bit less gain, so it's optimized more for the single coils or for the humbuckers. You can actually get around switching. So if you have a guitar that has humbucker single, you know that when you switch between your different settings, you're gonna all of a sudden have different, slightly different amount of output from your guitar. So it's good to be able to do that as well. But you have a lot of different topics here.
With MIDI audio setup using the doubler and many
all that great stuff.
Other video which goes more in depth in the IR and cabinet capturing process.
That's something.
For example, we worked with Jensen speakers, and we have created the IRs and the digital version of all their speakers. So it was a huge project.
All of them.
Yeah,
Wow.
all of them.
It's crazy.
And I worked with Ignazio Vagnone, which is this guy here, which is the Jensen product specialist. And he has a huge knowledge of all the history of amplification. He has a lot to tell. So this is just a suggestion for you, Tony, if you want to do.
Getting a little glitch. Sometimes that happens when we're looking at overseas connections, guys. So don't worry. As soon as he comes back, we'll jump right in. In the meantime, could you guys give us a thumbs up if you like what we're talking about here? I do appreciate you guys tuning into the show. And I hope you guys are enjoying what we're talking about. I geek over this stuff so badly. To me, it's like I've started playing with software like this a long time ago. And what ends up happening is that I always will alternate between the real pedals, you know, the stuff that I got on the floor, the amplifiers, and all of that good stuff, and the software. And to me, it's like, one day I'm going to be totally into the software. One day I'm going to go back to the amplifiers. Most of the time, the reason that happens is because there's a lack in realism in the software. But with this software, it's not the case, because with this software, I feel like I can do pretty much all of it, you know. So for me, it's always a challenge to stay away. I go back in and take a look at that stuff. Thomas, you're back.
Sorry, I'm back. Sorry, something
okay.
went wrong with the connection.
No worries, no worries. So I was just talking about how I like to go back and forth between my amplifiers and my pedals and the software. But usually whenever I use a software package, there's always so many limitations that eventually I'll go back to the amplifier. But now in recent times, things have been getting really, really good. And there's less and less reason why I need to go back to my amplifiers, because there's so many things that I can do directly in the software, especially if you're doing recordings, because it's less hassle. Like, you don't have to set up amplifiers. You go right into your recording software. It's clean. You have the effects, you have the patches and all that great stuff. What do you think things are? I mean, where are things going now with, you know, with AI, for example, that's starting to show like what we can do with it? I'm gonna say, like, within 5 years, like, there probably won't be a difference in terms of, like, if you're listening to something that was recorded using software like yours and a real amplifier, like, already it's almost impossible to tell.
No, in fact, it's almost impossible since many years because it is. But what AI could do is, well, helping in the process. So maybe from here to 5 years, AI may help you in creating the tones. Like, for example, this is my guitar. That's the song.
Give me that
create
sound.
automatically. Give me that sound.
Oh man.
and stuff like that.
I don't know if that's a good thing. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, Thomas? Because at the end of the day, part of the fun is building it. No, like, to me, that's one of the things with the software. Like, I have a lot of fun building a sound. And the thing that I like to do is I'll usually start with something already created that's close, and then I'll just tweak it. You know, I'll just add a little bit more reverb, a little bit more compression or whatever. But most of the sound is already there. So it doesn't really take that much time to get my own sound. But that's the fun part. You know, if I can just use AI and say, okay, give me a Jimmy Page sound, boop, there it is. It's like, you know, it's not as exciting, I think.
Yeah.
It takes away from the creative process, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And also, it doesn't allow to develop your own personal tone.
Yes.
Which I think for a musician is the most important fact.
And also to get familiar with the software, because when I say software, I mean the hardware within the software. because a lot of times I find that people don't really know how to use. They know how to use basic things like a couple of pedals and whatnot, but there's a lot more that you can do that people don't normally do in real life. Like for example, if you want to do a wet dry rig, or you want to have two amplifiers and then mix between the two amplifiers to give you a mixed sound. All that great stuff that's kind of hard to do unless you have a lot of money and a lot of equipment in your house, you can do with the software. So this is something that blew me away, and maybe you can talk about that a little bit, just to show us within the software what I'm referring to in terms of like being able to mix a couple of amplifiers.
Yeah, sure.
There's a couple of sounds that you have, or patches that you
Let me
have, that are,
share
that are
again.
already set up like that I was playing around with earlier. So I'm just gonna share your screen here. Give me 1 sec. I got too many windows open here at the same time. Yeah, there you go.
So with TH-U, you can split the sound chain like this and have different stuff in parallel like this. So imagine you have your guitar here. This is the cable connected to the guitar. So the sound chain is split, and one part of the tone goes through this flanger and through this amplifier. The other goes through this other flanger, but it can be any other pedal. Like,
yeah, you can choose whatever you want to use. It doesn't have
choose
to be
whatever you want,
right.
And this different amplifier, and then things are mixed together. You can also choose the balance between the two lines.
Yeah.
Delay one with respect to the other, pan them, one on the left and one on the right, and stuff like that. And then go through a cabinet or another series of effect of your choice, like this. And so, yes, this easily allows to create parallel sound chains. Also, this allows you to create wet, dry, wet setups, because you can have the dry on the top line here. So I removed every effect. So you have the dry. Let me also add the cabinet, move the cabinet here. And you can have the wet. Let me remove the pedals and bring it here.
So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about in terms of wet dry, that's usually something that you hear like on, for example, Van Halen. They use a lot of wet dry. So one side of this one speaker will be the actual dry signal, so the guitar sound going in with no effects, and then the right side will be just the wet with no original guitar in it. So you'll be hearing the reverb, and then it's mixed together, and that creates like a really cool effect that a lot of people love. So you can do that very easily.
Wet, dry, wet, you have three lines. The central amplifier, the dry one, is the tone with no effects, which uses the full dynamic of the amplifier. And then you have, in fact, it's called wet, dry, wet, because you have two wet amplifiers, one on the left and one on the right, which are the stereo effects. So, but in TH-U, since every one of these lines is already stereo, here where you have the effects, you can see it as two channels, one on the left and one on the right. So basically, you have a full wet, dry, wet setup, because you have the first wet is the left channel of this row. Then you have the dry, which is here at the center, and the second wet is the right channel of this second line. So it's a bit technical, but like this, you already have created a wet, dry, wet setup, which in analog requires a lot of work.
It's not easy to do. I've tried to do it,
Yeah.
and it's not easy to do. You need to have some specific things to be able to make it work, and it's so easy in software. This is
Mm.
why, it's for me. It's like, you know, I always say to the people watching here, like, sometimes they'll ask me, what do you prefer, real amps or software? I like them
Mm.
both. I like them both for different reasons. But when it
Mm.
comes to doing stuff like this, it makes it so easy. So it's like, why would I want to make my life more difficult when I can just do it so easy with
Yeah.
this kind of
Yeah.
software? Somebody had asked earlier. There was a question. I kind of skipped over it. I didn't see it at the time. What does the THU stand for in TH-U Overloud?
I hope that nobody asked it this. No,
Yeah.
unfortunately, TH are the first letter of my name because my name is
Thomas.
Thomas.
Yes.
TH is first one, but well, I, we choose this name not because I like to be on the spot, but I even don't remember why we chose that name because it was almost 20 years ago.
So you chose
And
it. You chose it, and it's THU Thomas and
no,
Overloud.
well, it was the team
I see.
choosing this name
Okay.
because I remember we evaluated some other alternative names. Like I remember one, which was uh, amperage, uh,
Amperage. Okay.
amperage, written ampere like the measurement unit and rage. But someone pointed that rage is not a good name.
Okay.
Uh,
I like
so
it. I think
we
it was cool.
well, okay, so we
Amperage.
abandoned that, and one other name was GAS, Guitar Audio System.
Uh-huh.
But if you read as gas, may not be a
Well,
very good name.
well, actually, we always use the term gas for gear
Yeah.
acquisition syndrome, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
actually, so we say
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
gas if
Yeah.
you have gear acquisition
Yeah. Yeah.
syndrome. So it could have been
So by
cool.
now it could be a good name
Yeah,
today, but 20 years ago was maybe a good name.
right.
But at the end, we choose THU, and I don't remember why, because actually I was not in charge to the more marketing stuff at that time. It was more on the technical stuff. So
Correct. Yeah.
for me, okay, I said okay because the initial concept of the software was my idea.
Yes.
So that's maybe why they decided to choose my name. But okay, for me the important was to have a name and start to release the product.
Yeah,
Was
makes
my
sense.
goal. So
Well,
yeah,
Overloud is a cool name as well. I like that one as
yeah.
well. But yeah, I was wondering. So I'm glad somebody else asked that question, so we understand what the history is. Um, and NFM MFN. Sorry, I'm reading it too quickly. He says it seems like amps are headed towards being objects of nostalgia.
Hmm.
Maybe we're already there.
I,
Uh,
I, I,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
agree because I think that both real amplifier and software are different, and you need both of them because software is so easy to use. It gives you a lot of possibilities. You can explore tones, have every kind of tone at your fingertips, and that's very good. But when you use a real amplifier, that may be inspiring because you touch the object, you have that physical feeling, and when you're looking for to be inspired and you want to maybe go on a particular mood, also I think you need also the real object, that vibe. So there are two different aspects, and you need both.
I couldn't have said it better, Thomas. I think you're absolutely 100% right, because I enjoy the software tremendously, and then I go back to my amplifier and I'm like, oh yeah, I missed it. The
Yeah.
real touching something, feeling something.
Mm.
You need that. I think today we're living in a world where everything's virtual almost. We're going to that virtual point where like we're having a discussion. We could be face to face in a room, but we're doing it over a computer. So people still want to have that physical connection to something
Mm,
real.
mm, mm.
So I agree. I don't think it's going to disappear quickly. the new generation is getting more and more comfortable with virtual because obviously they're born with it. So I'm a little bit older, so I do appreciate the older technology, but I can see where they're merging together like that right now. So that's really cool. What I think we should do, Thomas, at this point, we've been talking an hour and a half. I know you wanted to offer a little gift, a little giveaway opportunity. So maybe we do that right now, and we'll see.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll let you. So Thomas wanted to offer the viewers today a little present, a little opportunity to walk away with something.
We have one license of one Made in Rock pack at your choice. The Made in Rock packs are the one created after the models on that collection. So
the Jimmy Page and
Jimmy Page, Keith Richards, and Noel Gallagher, and Judas Priest, and
all the good stuff.
Many others. So you can choose one, the one you prefer, and in order to win it, well, would you say what one should do to be the winner, or should I?
Yeah, well, you can say it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I can say. Okay,
yeah, go
so
ahead.
the first one who writes in the comment the date where the Blackpool concert happened, it will be the winner of that license.
So basically, just to make it clear, we talked about the Rolling Stone concert earlier, the Blackpool concert that ended in a riot, and that Vox amp flew off the stage. Basically, that happened at a certain point in time. I'll just give you a rough idea. It's in the 60s, but I'm not going to say more than that. So whoever gives me the date of that concert right now, the first person who types in the correct date will get a free license for that really cool rock package that Thomas was talking about. So there's always a little bit of delay, Thomas, so people have
to.
But we'll keep our eye on the comments, and we'll see who's lucky.
Okay, the year is right, but we need the exact date, so also day and month.
So it's okay, that's good. That's good. So it's not just the date.
Okay.
Is that correct? Well, let's look at my facts here. The 24th of July, 64.
Yeah,
that's it. So Shane, I think you're the lucky winner, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So Shane Walton.
But also Steve wrote the right year, so
he did.
He did. So
what do we do there?
We have two winners because I wasn't clear on the fact that we need the full date, including day and month. Maybe we can give two licenses. We have two winners.
It's up to you, man. It's
Steve and Shane. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations, guys. Steve and Shane. Guys, what you'll probably need to do is you're probably going to need to send me your emails. I guess you're going to need an email.
And the pack you'd like to have.
Okay.
You can see them on our website.
So here's what I'll do. Guys, send me your information, your email, and the pack that you want to this address. I just put my addictedtogearlive@gmail.com address. Send it to me. Don't post it here just send it to me by email, and I'll send that to Thomas, and he'll send you out the information. How's that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Well, congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are going to appreciate the cool sounds you're going to be able to get from the software, because it is amazing. And once you start using it, I think you're going to have a hard time stopping to use it. So could we maybe try to make them hear a couple of sounds? I'm going to see if we could.
Sure. Because we talked for 1 hour and a half.
Yeah,
and you never played. So.
We never played, correct. And I know that, guys, just so you know, through the software that we're using when we're doing the streaming, there is a little bit of delay. So when I hear the sound, sometimes I'm hearing a little bit of delay, so it throws me off a little bit. But what I could do is I can just maybe show you some of the Jimmy Page sounds, because I'm a big Jimmy Page fan. And I'll just share the software, and I'll jump into that. Here we are. And let me just make sure that I can see everything here on my screen. And whoop, my amp is on. Sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna just go into, I believe it's Mr. Jimmy that, or Mr. Jim.
Jim P.
Jim P, sorry.
J.
So I'm gonna do it from here, Jim P. There we go. So for those of you that are, see, this is one of the Made in Rock patches or packages. You have 15 sounds, and there's a whole bunch of different ones here, everything from twang strat to fat strat, dirty clean strat, all the good stuff. And then here you do see a couple of other ones. So this is Black Dog, Whole Lot of Love. We have Moby, I guess it's Moby Dick, Heartbroken, which is a Heartbreaker, I believe. So if I just zoom out a little bit and show, oops, I don't want to move it. Just want to show how these things are actually put together. So I didn't modify anything with these sounds. These are like stock. So you can see here, it's a dual setup, dual amp setup. And then it goes into a delay, goes into the cabinet here with a few specific types of microphones, and then deverb. So it's a pretty straightforward setup. It's not overly complicated, but let's see if I could play something here. So you can hear the sound. So I don't know how good it sounds on your end, but it sounds pretty good on my end on this side here. So this is like a really nice sound. I play with this one all the time. For example, we can go to a different one here as well, like maybe, which one should we try? I'm not really sure. A Whole Lot of Love, it's always a good one. Black Dog is always a good one. Oh. So what I like about these sounds is that if you listen to the actual recording, a lot of people think there's a lot more gain, but there isn't that much gain on the recording. This is something that I find when I listen to people playing these songs, they're always putting too much gain, where in this case, it's not that much. So here you can see, if I zoom in on the amplifier, just so you can see the settings a little bit. So it's not jumpered, it's just going into the high input here as far as I can see. Presence, bass, middle treble, and volume 1, volume 2 mix. Not extremely high, like it's not being cranked all the way. So it's pretty cool that you kept that authentic. Mm-hmm. Then obviously we have the different, the amplifier like the one we saw. And then we have this spring age, which I guess is a spring type reverb.
Reverb, yeah.
Very common. And that's about it. Pretty simple setup. You know, nothing too complicated.
Yes, at that time, guitarists have very simple setup. You didn't have all the effects, all the processors that came out in the 80s. And the 80s were the time of that big rack of effects.
Yes.
Because they started to be available in the 80s. So they overused them.
Yes, in the 80s, they went a little crazy. And they're like, wow, we can do all this stuff. That's fantastic. But in the early days, you were lucky if you even had reverb. But one thing I wanted to ask you, Thomas, for the Jimmy Page sound, I know that a lot of rumors were circulating in terms of what he used. Nobody really knows 100% what he used in the studio. Although they did talk about, you know, the fact that he used a Supro amplifier for some of the sounds, and most of them were on a Telecaster in the early days. Any of these sounds for the Jimmy Page pack have a Supro instead of a Marshall, or did you just focus on the Marshall?
No, we focused on the Marshall because that was the amplifier available in the collection. So everything is focused on that particular amplifier, because that's the one we had available.
Yeah.
In fact, this is not a pack, a Led Zeppelin pack or Jimmy Page pack. It's a pack on his amplifier.
Amplifier only. Yeah. I get
all
it.
the presets have been created with that amplifier.
Yeah.
But online in the preset download section, we have an additional bank
Yep.
of preset, which are created with other amplifiers, other stuff, and they in some way go through a wider selection of tones, even the ones not created with that Marshall.
Yeah, I get, and I get it. I get it. It would be nice to eventually have others as well, but I mean, this is the one that's kind of the creme de la creme, as they say in France, which means that it's the gem in terms of the amplifier. By the way, Steve says thank you so much, Thomas. He's surprised that you're giving him the opportunity. Shane says Jimmy Page pack or YouTube pack. Gotta check the site. He's not sure which one he wants, but
so Jimmy Page, because we don't have a YouTube.
There
pack,
you go.
So.
That makes it
no,
easy.
Well, maybe you should check all the packs we have and choose
something that you
with
like.
no rush. So
right.
But thank you for. It's a pleasure to share these licenses because we are always happy to make them known, and thank you for staying here with us for 1 hour and a half.
Yeah, almost 2 hours.
So. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up because I know that you're, in your. I don't know what time it is over there right now, but it's starting to probably.
It's 6 p.m.
Getting around supper time. So Rob wanted just to know. He says, "Can you also give us the Knoll AC30?" So let me just maybe make him hear something with the AC30. Do you know what the
NG30.
NG30.
NG30. Noel Gallagher 30.
Yeah, 30. Okay.
I don't remember if you have I give you the license of that pack.
It's. I don't think I have it actually. No,
maybe
I don't have that pack, unfortunately.
Because I think I have given you the KR30, which is the Keith Richards.
Yes.
30.
Yeah. Maybe we can listen to that one instead.
Okay, you can. Yeah.
Let's do that one. Okay, so that's the KR30. It's going to be a little bit more dirty, I guess. More of a. Yeah. So we have the. So this is. Let me just zoom out a little bit so you can see what kind of sounds. Let me just actually show. Oh, I'm moving things around here. Okay, let me just share my screen so you can see it. So this is the KR pack, which is the Keith Richards pack. So here you have the fuzz, and I love the way you made the pedals look. It's like so authentic looking. It's pretty cool. Then here we have the amplifier we were talking about, the spring. Then we have the cabinet with the microphones. Again, pretty straightforward. And this is just a satisfaction kind of a. So it's you can I think the fuzz is nice because it's not an overkill on the fuzz that you have there, and you can see it's just attack and volume. Then the amplifier is going into the brilliant section here. There's no there's just tone, and that's about it. The switch for the trem is off, so I'm just wondering if I could turn this on here. Let me just see if I could just play with this. Ooh, I'm trying to turn it on here. I can't do it.
Yeah, sorry, I can't see your screen from here.
It's okay.
So
it's turned on now. I don't hear that much of the trem happening, so let me try and pump this up.
You should change move the input jack on the tremolo channel.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, absolutely. I almost forgot that. That's silly of me, because in these models you have to be in the right input to be able to use the trem. So yeah. So here now we have. So what I'm hearing here is interesting, because if I'm going to just change the input back to the regular setting here, what you'll notice is if you pick lightly and if you pick hard, you have the dynamics of a real amp. So if you pick hard, you get more of that grit, you get more of that distortion, and that's
like in the real amp.
In the real amp. But so many times you don't really get that. You lose that aspect of it, you know. So I'm really pleased when I hear that right off the bat. So I'm just gonna do one more here. Let's just do what can we do? Start me up, satisfaction, or let's do the brown sugar one. Again, same amp setup. This time they're using, just zoom in so you can see a little bit better here. So the analog booster, same amp, but this time we have a dual setup, 2 amp setup, and it's going into, again, just zoom in a little bit more here so people can see 2 types of tape delays and a reverb. So So basically, what I really like about this sound, you definitely got the room sound on the recording, because when I tried to set this up many times with other gear, there was a certain type of immediate, like you have the delay, and then it almost like goes away really quickly. So the reverb is very important, and the way the delay and the reverb work together on the sound, it's hard to get that sound. And if you play, you're playing with the song, it sounds like the song. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty cool that you're able to get all those amazing sounds. So I hope the guys are going to be experimenting with these sounds and see what I mean, because I feel like I'm saying it over and over again, but I don't know how many people are actually experimenting to that degree. I'm a little bit of a freak when it comes to experimenting with the sounds and trying to get the sounds exactly like the recording. But you're able to do it.
And using a software, it helps a lot because you have a lot more options at your fingertips. So it's very quick to experiment different settings, different setups.
And I like the fact that you can also, like, you're wearing headphones, you can listen to your sound, you can A/B your sound and the original recording, and you can actually get it pretty much bang on if you take the time to do it. So
yes, also you should remember that the presets included in the software are just starting points, but because you don't have the guitar the original artist had in the recording, even if it's the same model, maybe it have not the same strings,
right?
Or so. Especially when you don't have very high gain tones, the tone of the guitar is very important. So
correct.
Presets are starting points, but you need to do your adjustments to tune the tone according to the sound of your guitar and your pickups.
Absolutely, and there's also another element, which is the fingers. You don't have I don't have the same fingers as Jimmy Page or David Gilmour or whoever it is. So
that's a different story.
That's a different story. Yeah, that's a big part of it too. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. We've been talking for almost 2 hours. I really do appreciate the time that you've taken with us. We can probably talk for another 2 hours if we wanted to,
sure.
But we'll have to save that for another time.
Maybe in the future we can
absolutely.
do another live just to go in depth on some specific topics.
Always welcome, or even if you have another update down the road, or you introduce some new functions or some new features or some new packs. I'd love to be able to do this again with you and keep everybody updated about how great the software is. And you're always welcome, Thomas. Anytime you want to come on the show.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it. So guys, we're going to wrap it up. I think if there's any last minute questions, if there's any things that you want to ask, now's the time, because we're going to let Thomas go and have his supper. And we hope you got a lot of interesting information here today. Maybe we showed you a couple of things that you didn't know. I know I learned a couple of different things here today. So people are saying, grazie, Thomas.
Grazie.
Rob says,
Grazie
great.
Jamie di essere stato con noi.
Exactly. Thanks for being with us, guys.
Thank
We do appreciate it. Rob, thank you. Rob says, great stuff. Thank you both. And David also says thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of thank yous and appreciation. So
Yes, and also thank you, Tony, to give me the chance to be here and talk about TH-U. And I really appreciated this time together.
me too, Thomas. Like I said, whenever I find a product that is very, very good, I'm always happy to promote it and let other people know about it. So I hope a lot of people will be taking advantage and at least checking out the the free trial. And I'm pretty sure if they do, they'll be hooked. So hopefully you'll be seeing a few more people coming your way from the show.
Yeah.
Stick around, Thomas. I'm just going to say bye to the boys and we'll wrap it up. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Thomas, thank you again. And for those of you that are new here and don't know, we always have an Addicted to Gear show every Sunday. So if you want to tune in, usually Sundays, 10:30, that's the time that we do our show. And we always have very cool either guests or topics for discussion. So please put it on your calendar and jump in. Next Sunday, we'll have some other great stuff to talk about. That's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for sharing your Sunday with us, and we'll talk again soon. Take it easy, boys.